Hello and welcome to another episode of Jump In, a Festival of Motoring show presented by Westbank. In today's show, we're going to be discussing the importance of partnerships for big events like Festival of Motoring. I'm joined in studio today by Ghana Nsibi, the Executive Head of Sales and Marketing at Westbank, and Constantine van Veerge, CEO of Messe Frankfurt, who put the event on. Constantine, let me start with you. It's all hands on deck now. And how important is it for you guys as organizers to secure partnerships like Westbank?
It's very simple. Without partnerships like the one we have with Westbank, we wouldn't be able to present a show to the public like this, because, as you know, a show like this has got very high costs involved. I mean, just the rental of the track, the insurances, the operations. I mean, we're going to employ something like 3,500–4,000 people that are going to work on the show, and so obviously without partners like Westbank, we wouldn't be able to put a show like this together. And I think a show like this is extremely important for the public to understand what's happening in the industry, and so therefore it is crucial to secure the right partners. And obviously a show like this also has to work for the partners. It's not really to say that one is the client, the other one is the other one is the it is a working relationship. So when we talk about partnership, we truly talk about the word partnership.
Absolutely. Ghana, Westbank has been with Festival of Motoring since its inception. You guys have been the title sponsor. What was it about the Festival of Motoring that you guys saw as a good strategic fit?
So I think in answering that question, one has got to go back to the very roots of Westbank. And it's all about cars, it's about motoring, it's about partnerships. That's really at the core of what we do. So when the opportunity was first presented to us, I think it really just was a right fit at a DNA level. Okay. And I think what the event really showcases is really the love for cars, the love for motoring, but I think in a very interactive way. And it allows for people to experience, and it allows for people to bring their families. And so for us, the decision was really around making sure that we, through the partnership with our OEMs, are able to showcase, you know, the very best of call it South African motoring, as it were, and take it to the public.
It must put you guys at ease to know that you have the support of one of the industry's biggest players.
Absolutely, and it was very interesting when we started with a new concept. As you know, the automotive industry asked us to come up with a new concept that would work for the South African public. And when we started, we really just had a vision. So we didn't even have something to show for. Kyalami was not even renovated yet. It was still a construction.
I was part of the discussions initially when you came to present.
It was a construction site. We basically presented ideas and a vision, and we obviously asked for a big partnership from Westbank. Sure. So it takes a really forward-thinking company to say, you know what, yes, there is risk involved, because there was risk involved, because we didn't know if we can really pull it off. Yeah. But Westbank was a fantastic partner from the get-go to say, yes, we believe in you. Of course, there was like things that didn't work out in the beginning, and of course it was but like a real true partnership. We worked through it together. There were a couple of companies that didn't buy into our vision, and we are lucky that Westbank did. Now we have companies knocking on our doors wanting to have what Westbank has, but it takes sometimes this first step, this like leap of faith to say, you know, we believe that the company like Messe Frankfurt can pull something like this together. Yeah. And so we're really grateful for the partnership that we developed over the years with Westbank.
Yeah. Ghana, what is it about the interactive format of the festival that makes it so successful?
What this event does, it allows for people to truly experience and be part of call it the real life sentiment of the vehicle itself. Yeah. You know, you get real life feedback. Yes. It's not just about going to a car show. I mean, we know that there are different types of consumers. You know, there are guys that kind of just get it as a utility. There are guys that look at it from a lifestyle perspective, and they're petrol heads. Yes. You know, and I think it caters for all those. You are able to experience a vehicle on the track. You're able to bring your family. You're able to bring your kids. You know. And so it's actually a day out for the family.
The interesting part of it is now, if you now read the news about the Detroit Auto Show, the Detroit Auto Show being one of the largest shows in the world, they just announced they're going to move their show from January to June because they need to make that show more interactive. And the news even say they reference like Goodwood Festival of Speed, which was the basis for the show, the basis for us 3 years ago. So in many ways, the US and Europe is ahead of us, but when it comes to car shows, we are actually 3 years ahead of Detroit. We hear a lot of people that say, you know what, the new Volkswagen Passat, I would have liked to test drive it, but I don't want to go into this dealer environment. Yeah. Because when I'm at a dealer, we know they're doing their job by asking for your details, they're asking you, trying to qualify you, they're trying to figure out if you are really in the market for a car.
Yeah.
Now, we called it a non-threatening environment, and in the end of the day, we might have a few that say, you know what, actually it is time for me to upgrade. You know, maybe it is time for the new car. And that's what the show is also about.
Are there any trends that you guys are seeing from a finance point of view in particular?
The general trends, we're definitely seeing 4 particular emerging trends. You know, there's definitely a lot of talk and discussions around EV and hybrid cars, you know, where that is going, how long is it going to take from an adoption perspective, infrastructure costs, etc. But definitely something on the horizon, and which we definitely think will take off. Obviously, there's political will, there's infrastructural rollout, etc. But with the total cost of ownership being where it is, that's definitely an option. There's the discussion around connected cars. We're seeing that every single day, where you're starting to see the connectivity into cars and internet, etc. And that changes the overall experience of your vehicle. So it's no longer just a tool for utility, from point A to point B, but it's about how you get from point A to point B effectively. Then the third aspect is around mobility as a service, Taxify, Ubers, etc. But I think we're starting to see that becoming an active participant within the automotive, ecosystem, as it were. And I think the last piece really is about autonomous cars. So that's really just the 4 we talk about from that perspective. And then if one comes to the financing aspect, is I think we all know that what we have is disposable today, income today, and what we had 2 years ago is fundamentally different. It's definitely not the same. And so we see that flow through in the customer's pocket. We're seeing customers starting to buy down vehicles, moving from the lux market into your entry-level segments. We're seeing a significant trade-off in that space. We're seeing customers structuring deals, obviously, over longer periods as well. Your 72 months with a certain percentages of balloon, which ultimately helps out as far as affordability is concerned. What's interesting, however, though, with that is we're not seeing the customers actually keep the cars for the full contractual period. So that's still interesting, because I think South African consumers still want to change cars. There's just something about us that, once we go over the 3-year mark, you just need the smell of new leather.
Absolutely. Well, I was going to ask, is it still that 3 to 5 year cycle that most South Africans are
so it's pushed out slightly. It's pushed out slightly. We're seeing on our book, from a WesBank perspective, sitting at about 41 to 42 months. It was the kind of the 36, 37 months. So we've seen a slight, push out, and we're seeing quite an aggressive play by OEMs. Obviously, in wanting to dominate markets with new derivatives and sales support initiatives. So there's still an active will to dominate the South African automotive market by the OEM. So it's still a healthy market. I think we will still see some changes, based on how the balance of the year plays out.
And in terms of like a 10-year path, where is WesBank going? What's driving, the cogs back at the office?
Yeah, so it's very interesting, because the challenge we have is remaining relevant in today's market, but still being able to spend enough time in planning for the 5 to 10 year view. So it's really, at the moment, what's driving us is creating new ways for customers to access vehicles. Financing in a different way. One of the examples, I think, it's about how do we then participate in the era of mobility as a service. We talk about Uber, we talk about Taxify, we talk about etc. But there's also the car sharing combos as well. So how do we participate in partnership with our dealers and in partnership with the OEMs? That's the first part. The second part is about how do you manage the total cost of ownership for the customer. When a customer purchases a vehicle today, they're driven fundamentally by very different variables. Historically it was just the installment. Can I afford to pay for the car? Today is, can I afford to pay for the petrol? Can I afford to change the tires? And so therefore we are in the space of wanting to participate much deeper in that value chain. So, and I'll give you an example of something that we've actually launched now, which is what we call our driver product, where what we've done is we've incorporated the financing of accessories into the actual finance deal, post the transaction. And then thirdly, I think it's about the bulking of products, making sure that we've got creative structures around insurance. We've got a few products at the moment that we think we can definitely still improve on, such as, fixed rate insurance, where for a period of time you pay the same amount. So that talks to portfolio pricing structures that we need to now be able to, using analytics and data, start working on, much more smarter. Innovation is in our DNA, and I think through creative partnerships we also learn a lot. I think we've benefited a lot, for instance, with this partnership on things that Messe Frankfurt have really foresaw a change in how the festival should be conducted, and I think there's definitely a whole lot more through what people would call disruptors. We see that as opportunity, and we definitely see that as an ability for us to actually just rethink banking in general, keeping that customer as a central focus point.
Thanks very much for being in the studio today, guys. And thank you for watching another episode of Jump In, a Festival of Motoring show brought to you by Westbank. Stay tuned to our social media channels as we build forward to the festival. And if you want tickets, you can get those on ourtickets.co.za. Until next time.